Hey, what's going on, guys? Gunshed here, and welcome. So, today we're on our way to get the first service done on my 2018 V-Strom 650. Now, I've only had it about 6 weeks, which 600 miles isn't very much in 6 weeks. However, I've only been able to ride every other weekend, so not ideal. Yeah, so now it's time to take it in for its first service. At 600 miles, it's on 587, so I'm going to be a touch over by the time. I've just fitted a new screen, which is the GT Airflow screen. Basically, the MRI I did have on it was the one from my previous V-Strom, and I didn't like the tinted black. I heard good things about this screen, so I thought I'd try it. So I thought I'd do sort of because I've done, you know, owner's reviews of this in the past, I thought I'd do a running in review, which is a little bit different. It's basically, what's the bike like to ride when you're running it in? Is there anything I've noticed about it that needs looking at? First impressions of it. So I'm not going to go through the power specs because you can find those on the internet. Roughly it's about 60 horsepower, I think, maybe 70. And it's got a V-twin 650cc engine. The big notice for me is the fact that the headaches that I used to get riding my old V-Strom are gone. I don't get headaches from turbulence, which, those of you that know I own the channel, I previously had a V-Strom 650, which I sold because I was getting lots of headaches, and yeah, so I ended up selling it, and then a few weeks later I was diagnosed with a tumour, so that's what the headaches were, not the bike. So anyway, first things first. Well, the ride is ridiculously comfy. I knew anything was going to be compared to my old CBR. This thing takes the bumpy Norfolk roads and the back roads and things like that in its stride. It is lovely to ride like that. So I've been running this in as per the dealerships and instruction book's guide, which is keep it under 5,000 RPM for the first 500 miles, then the next 1,000 we have to keep it under 7.5, I think, but I'm always overly protective of those, so I'll do the first stage because it's 500, which is closer to 600. Thought, well, I might as well just keep it under 5,000 until we've had the first service. So, you know, it's not going to be the fastest bike when you're keeping it under 5,000 RPM, purely because you're changing gear so much. It's a bit, probably down to 250 pace, something like that, when you're riding, because obviously you're changing gear so much. So overtaking things can be a bit difficult if vehicles are doing 50 mile an hour or whatever. It can take a bit of time and you have to get a bit of a run up. But no, it's been, I think it's handled everything really nicely. The gearbox was quite scratchy at first. It's lovely and loose now, so that's all good. Nice satisfying clunk as you get it into gear, and it will get better after the first service. Brakes bedded in nicely. There are a couple of things that I'm not overly enamoured about. The first one's the tyres. Now, I had, my previous V-Strom had Bridgestone, I think they were trail wings, and this has Battle Axe Adventures, and I do think the trail wings are actually a better tyre. It definitely seem to have more grip under engine braking in sticky situations compared to this. I mean, V-twins do have quite a lot of engine brake, and when the ground surface isn't necessarily brilliant, I've just felt these tyres are not as well, don't perform as well. I haven't fiddled around with the settings. I made it sort of roughly the same height as my MRA, so I can feel the wind going over my head, which is nice, but I have a nice bit of wind on my chest still. So suspension's bedded in nicely. Brakes seem to work well, they're bedded in alright, although I haven't really used them. ABS works. I did have to use that. Someone pulled out on me and I had to plough on the ABS, and that was reassuring. As with, I mean, obviously, because I'm under 5,000 RPM, I'm not going to be bragging the nuts of it, but I've not noticed the traction come on. And I found that with my old V-Strom, was that you couldn't really, in stage 1 I think it is, which is the least intrusive setting apart from off, it's, you don't really notice it come on. You only just notice the light come on to say it's on. But it does a good job, and it definitely stops the wheel slipping. Another thing I'm not overly impressed with, apart from the tyres, is this clutch lever. And I'm going to get them to source it. It's got about 2 centimetres of slack in it before it does anything. So I think that needs tightening up. But other than that, I think we're all good. So, what am I doing? Averages and stuff like that. So, I'm averaging about 65 to the gallon. Which is quite good. And tank range, well, I'm not entirely sure. I think last time I filled it up, I had about 40 miles to go. I was on 220 miles, something like that. So tank range is about 250, 260. Well, 260 you've run out, probably. It seems to be going really well. It's nice not having to be at petrol stations for ages. I love the mirrors. I think the mirrors are really good. Yeah, no sort of major issues to report as such. It's just a nice handling, easy riding, comfortable bike. Obviously, can't really show you what the performance is like while we're running it in, but you know, it's happily bimbling around. During running, I think you're sitting just a smidge over 5,000 RPM to sit at 70. Obviously, you don't want to be sat at one speed for too long. I mean, this road I couldn't ride my CBR along because it was so bumpy. And if you think I'm 506, sorry, there, I'm 5'6", and I weighed myself last night. I'm 53 kilos. And the reason I weighed myself is because I had to weigh the dog. We don't have a set of scales big enough for the dog. I had to weigh myself and pick the dog up and weigh myself with the dog. I just like how visible these ones are. You know, I've got no arms or shoulders in them. They're really nice to ride with. I just think they're good mirrors. Yeah, I mean, road like this, it just bimbles along lovely and smoothly. I'm really impressed with it. So I mean, this is the sort of acceleration we're looking at. Keeping it under 5,000. Yeah, cruising around town. Fine. Pretty uneventful. I am late. I thought I was going to be early, but I'm late because I took a wrong turn. I came off too early. I'll have to tag this video to get maximum clickbaitage. I ride with 5-0 undercover cop. Never understood clickbait. A little bit boring running it in, I will admit. It's like riding a 125, except you've got more weight and it's not as flickable.